Hello, students. Now, when a child is born, then you compare the child with its father, mother, grandparents. Why? Because the child has got the genes from the parents, and the parents they got it from their parents. So, genes are present which gives particular character. Now, it is by chance that they get that particular character either from either parents, and they follow certain laws. So, what is genetics? It's the study of hereditary, that is, transmission of the body features which are similar, and yet there is variation. So similarity and differences from parents to the offspring and the laws that are relating to such transmissions. So genetics, they follow certain laws, and the characters which comes in the offspring is through the laws. Now there was a scientist, Mendel Gregor. He's also known as father of genetics. 200 years before he was born in a poor peasant family, and he was an Austrian monk. He studied in monastery, and later on he went to the University of Vienna to study science and mathematics. And he tried becoming teacher, but he failed the test. And through his discovery, he's become super teacher. So he could not pass the test, so he became an abbot of the monastery. Now, this monastery, it had a lovely garden. Now, there was various plants, but Mendel, he studied the garden bee, the characters. He studied different generation and how the characters they developed in the different generation. So he had the time and the inclination to study the garden bee, the genetic makeup, the genes, how the traits they developed in from generation to generation. Though his study became the laws of inheritance, they are known as Mendel's law. So, Gregor Mendel, he is known as the father of genetics, and he studied the inheritance of certain features in the garden bee. They are known as Mendel's law of inheritance. Now, what is hereditary? It is transmission of genetically based characteristics from the parents to the offspring. So, whatever the character of the parents, that will be transmitted to the offspring. That study of transmission of character is genetic. Now, genetic is very well developed. There is genetic engineering which is developed. Now, it is used in various fields, but you can change the genetic makeup of organism by introducing new genes. Now, for example, a gene of producing insulin, it's an hormone which is given to the diabetic patient. Now, that gene is introduced in the bacteria to produce insulin. Insulin is produced on large scale when the bacteria they multiply the insulin also. So large amount of insulin is produced and it is used for the diabetic patient. So there are various purposes for which genetic engineering is used by changing the genetic makeup of the organism. Now, genetic counseling. You must have seen many children which are born, they have certain diseases, certain problems which are genetic. If the couples are counseled before whether to get married or not married, because the progeny will have certain problems like thalassemia. Here, the amount of protein which is going to hold the oxygen is less in thalassemia. So they have breathing distress. Now, sickle cell anemia. Same way, the RBCs are in the shape of the sickle. Therefore, they won't be able to hold the sufficient amount of oxygen. Now, there are various other genetic diseases like hemophilia. In hemophilia, the blood won't clot easily. Even if there is a small wound, the blood will just flow off, and it might lead to death of the child. So the carrier of these diseases should not be allowed to get married. Why? Because the progeny, the offspring, will certainly have those diseases which will lead to their death. So that is genetic counseling. That is the practical purposes of studying genetics and applying. So genetic engineering and genetic counseling beneficial for the humans. Now, like begets like means humans, Homo sapiens, they'll give birth to humans. Cat will give birth to cat, dog, whatever. So the species will give rise to same species. Bacteria in the curd, it has many generations, but still it will remain bacteria in the curd, because like begets like. Same thing will produce its young one which is similar to themselves. Now, we are Homo sapiens. We all are humans, but still there is a variation in every human, from races to different races and different tribes. Even in a family, there is difference in the features because there is variation. There is similarity, yet there is variation. So that is the purpose of studying genetics. Variation, small differences among the individual of the same species. Now, the characters like our eyes, nose, they are the characters. Now, the color of the eyes, that is trait. So, the feature of that character, they are known as traits. Now, we all have eyes, but different color of eyes. Different, that is trait. So, we might have black, blue, brown eyes. Now, even the hairs, they will vary. They might be smooth or curly. That's a trait. The eyebrows might be smooth, bushy, or thin. That is a trait. Eyebrows, that is characters, and whether they are thin, thick, that is trait. Then you might have blood group, which can be Rh positive, which can be Rh negative. You might have color, which is fair, or it might be dark, or sometimes there may not be any pigment. That is albinism. You might have eyes which may be normal, or it might be colorblind, that you are not able to differentiate between the red and green color, and that might be a problem. You might be right-handed or left-handed. So these are the traits, and these traits you inherit from your parents. So all the characters and all the traits you inherit from your parents. parents have inherited from their parents. So all these characters, they come in you because you have genetic makeup which is similar to your parents. Now this genes, they are made up of DNA. So many DNA will entangle to form genes, and many genes, they will form chromosomes, and these chromosomes, they form the blueprint of the character. So the characters which we have, that is due to the chromosome. It carries the blueprint. So here study of genetics is studying the characters which is present in the genes which forms the chromosome and leads to the character of the organism.